And welcome back to my journey. So today I will be discussing my debt story and debt journey. So towards the end of last year, I decided that I wanted to start looking ahead and planning my future. And so I knew that there were a couple of things that I needed to get in order before I could make some major decisions. So what I decided to start doing was tackling my debt. So that's all types of debt: credit card debt, student loan debt, any type of debt you could think about. I decided that I wanted to wipe all that out, have a clean slate so that I could start prepping for my future. So today I'll share with you the debts that I've paid off and how I was able to accomplish this over the last year. So right now I'm not completely debt free, but I have made some major Herculean efforts, as someone told me, to try to clear things up and get organized financially. So the first thing I did was I started listening to the Dave Ramsey podcast. I don't know if you all are familiar with him, but he is a financial kind of advisor. He created the Financial Peace University plan, which includes 7 baby steps to getting yourself out of debt and freeing yourself up from like just the strains that can put on your life and your ability to make decisions. So I started listening to Dave Ramsey a few years ago, but before that, some kind of way, and I don't remember how I was introduced to it, I became aware of a book that I would recommend that everybody reads, and it's called The Millionaire Next Door. So luckily for me at the time, the entire audiobook was on YouTube for free, and so I was able to listen to it maybe 3 or 4 times. And this was a few years ago, before it actually had been removed from YouTube. Like right now, I tried searching it and I can't find it anymore. But I was really fortunate enough to get access to that book, that audio book, online for free. So on The Millionaire Next Door, they interviewed a slew of different millionaires, regular millionaires. So people that had assets of $1 million or more. And what they kind of did some analysis and put things into perspective. And what they noticed was the majority of millionaires in the United States, that's where the study was focused, I believe, were self-made millionaires that had regular jobs and were not trust fund babies. So that completely surprised me, because I'm not a trust fund baby, and I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth, and I know that I'm going to have to work for things. So I was so pleased to see what these people had accomplished in the people they had surveys in their story, to see what they were able to accomplish, just regular people with a regular salary like me or you, if you're watching this. So some common denominators in all of them were that they never bought a new car. A lot of them ended up working the same job for a long period of time. A lot of people in the study, of the people that they surveyed, were like teachers. They never took on debt. So through the duration of their life, in order for them to reach millionaire status, they always contributed to their retirement plan offered through their employers. So that was never like a negotiable. So they always put in as much as they could, and more if they could, than the matching or the maximum. And they did that consistently over the duration of their life. And so as time went on and interest compounded, within their lifetime, they were all self-made millionaires just by doing those few things: staying away from debt, not buying used cars, buying modest homes. They didn't have a lot of luxury clothes or bags, or they didn't necessarily take luxury vacations. They weren't flashy or trying to show off or keep up with the Joneses, as Dave Ramsey would say. And so finding out this information gave me hope that I too could be a millionaire one day, just with small decisions that I make over the duration of my life that I'm consistent with. And so last year, so after reading that a few years ago, and then finding out about Dave Ramsey a few years after that, and listening to his podcast, and also he has a YouTube channel. In his podcast, or his radio show he has, he also does a podcast. And so within those, people that have paid off their debt come to his radio studio, I believe in Tennessee, and they do their debt-free screams. So they'd say what their income range was and how much they paid off and how they were able to do it, whether it be by selling something or taking on an extra job. And those are very inspiring. So for anybody that's trying to pay off debt, I would suggest that you listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast, specifically the debt-free screams, even if you don't listen to the entire podcast, because those are motivational. And he does one every day. So he has a slew, like an entire catalog of debt-free screams. So there'll be plenty for you to listen to while you're working on your get out of debt journey. So doing all of those things and knowing in the back of my head, hey, I can be a millionaire one day, I was able to kind of see where I wanted to be in the future and know that it's achievable, making small, modest, consistent efforts throughout the duration of the rest of my life. And so starting towards the end of last year, I decided that I was going to try to pay off some of my debt, because eventually in the future I'm going to buy a house. So I picked up a second job, and I worked that second job in addition to my current job for 7 days a week. And I did this for months and months and months. I started on September 1st of 2017, and I did it, I want to say, realistically, I worked both jobs, unless there was like a dire situation where I couldn't. I worked both jobs 7 days a week from September to December. And then from December till sometime mid-March, I kept my regular permanent job, and then I also worked the second job as much as humanly, physically possible without burning myself out. And I was able to accomplish paying off 3 debts and cash flowing 2 semi-conference vacations. So the first debt I was able to pay off that I wanted to tackle, I started making payments. And this is a key too. If you have a credit card that is charging you interest, don't wait until your payment date to make a payment. What I would do is, for my second job, I got paid every single week on the same day. Every single day, I got every single week on that same day. When my check dropped and hit my account, I went to that establishment or set it up online, and every single penny I made, I paid to them. Every single week. I didn't wait till the next month's payment date. I made weekly payments. And then if I was able to come up with some extra money in between that normal standard payment date of the week, I threw that at it too. I literally got to the point where I was making small payments, and this may seem crazy, but I accomplished my goal, so it worked for me. It could work for you too. I was making payments of like $5. After I would like get paid for my regular job, I would pay all my bills, put the money where it needed to go. Anything left over, the smallest amount, could have been $1, could have been $5, could have been $24.32. I paid it. I threw it at it without hesitation, without thinking twice, because I had a goal and I wanted to achieve my goal. And so the first debt that I was able to pay off was my Sleep Number. So my first adult purchase that I ever really made was I bought myself a bed. And I didn't just buy any type of bed. I bought a fancy bed, some people would say. I bought a Sleep Number bed. Love it still to this day. So I had a goal to make sure that I could pay off the entire balance of that bed by my 1-year anniversary of having it. And so I made that goal. I actually paid it off a little bit before the month that I got it. And the total of that was my remaining balance once I started trying to aggressively pay it off to meet that deadline was $1,430. And so I was able to pay off that entire balance that I had remaining as of October 13th of 2017. So then immediately, I didn't take a break. Immediately, I went and paid my next credit card, which had a similar balance. It was $1,418, and that was Macy's. I hate Macy's. I paid Macy's off less than 32 days later in November for that balance. And then from there, because I wanted to kind of follow Dave's plan, his first baby step is a $1,000 emergency fund. If you make more than $25,000 a year, I believe it is. If it's under $25,000 that you make, it's $500 emergency fund. So that was the next thing I did, which I kind of went out of order a little bit, but I got it together eventually. So the next thing was to put away my $1,000 emergency fund. So I was able to accomplish that via working a second job shortly thereafter. Then from there were a couple of kind of trips I went on, or little conferences I attended, and so I was able to come up with the money for those merely by continuing to work that second job. And so I paid for all of those things I did in cash. And so the sum total of those trips were about just underneath $2,000. And so then from there, my next goal was to pay off Best Buy. And I had a date. I wanted to accomplish paying off Best Buy by March of 2018. Sometime in March of 2018. And I was able to accomplish that because, like I said, I was working both jobs literally 7 days a week from September to December solid. And then I took a few days off just, because of the weather and my birthday. I took a few days off in between like January and March, but for the most part I was still working both jobs 5 days a week at a minimum. And so then I was able to pay off my Best Buy credit card, and that was in the total of $2,125, and I paid that off on March 15th. So then from there I stopped working the second job because I started grad school, which I'm very excited about. So it just wasn't possible for me to work 2 jobs and do the best I could in grad school. So I haven't really been working a second job since then. So now that I'm in grad school, I have to slow down the aggressiveness of my debt payoff, but I'm still focused and still working on it. And so now, as you all know, I'm working on Capital One. And so I'm excited about that. I hope to be completely finished with that by the end of September, October 1st. And so I'll put a link in this video here to my progress that I've made on that particular card. So just wanted to share my debt-free journey over the last year, and comment down below if you're on a debt-free journey or if you've already gotten out of debt and how you did it, and give us any tips or tricks that you have for accomplishing that goal. And thank you again for visiting my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be updated when I post new videos in the future. And thank you for watching. Doodles!